Good afternoon, guys. I'm just standing outside the hostel. As you may notice, I said good afternoon because we went out last night till 4 in the morning and it's now 3 in the afternoon and we've only just surfaced. I think we're going to head to the S21 Prison to go and check that out, and then I need to go to the shopping mall to buy my new camera. So today has started off very late. Last night was a good night out drinking. I forgot to take my camera out, so I didn't film anything from last night, but you can certainly have a good night out in Phnom Penh. We're now going to jump in a tuk-tuk, hopefully go to the S21 Prison as long as it's still open, and go and look around that for a couple of hours and then go to the shopping mall. So as always, I'll take you guys with me and let's go and check it out. Guys, we found ourselves a tuk-tuk and we are on our way to the S21 Prison. This is the kind of genocidal museum and prison where they held captives before they took them to the killing fields. So it's probably going to be quite another kind of emotional one, but we're going to go check it out, have a walk around. I'm pretty sure there's an audio tour as well, so as I'm walking around I'll tell you guys more about it. So just at the entrance, just paid the $6 admission fee. Here is a map of the site. So we're going to be walking around all of this and just going to pick up the audio tour, and then I can start telling you more about the prison and the things that went on here. So let's get the audio tour and get going. Guys, just listening to the audio guide, the S21 Prison was used between 1975 and 1979, and it was a place of pretty horrific atrocities. Between 12 and 20,000 people were brought here and only 12 unknown to have survived. This is kind of one of the prison blocks, and there's 4 different blocks that we're going to walk around, so I'll show you them as we walk around. So these 14 graves are the graves of the last 14 people to die in S21, and you can see the 14 graves here.
Som lược hành tha kram thvai bong kom nang madai phiram chieti.
So guys, just walking through building A of the S21 Prison, and each of these rooms that we're walking in was used as a torture chamber, and prisoners would be strapped to the bed and potentially were made to write signed confessions at the table and chair there. They'd have to confess the crimes that they hadn't committed, and this building before the Khmer Rouge took it over as a prison and used it as a prison was a school building, and was used as a high school.
Ngủ tật đong liêng xâm ạt tràn đong lợn lãng trò con ơi lợn đang có mà ra bèl kê nhang mà đai nơi chinh a thơm mình hiện từ na khliệt ngay không can.
Guys, so what you'll see behind me is the gallows. It was a climbing frame when this was a high school, but the Khmer Rouge turned it into a torture device. They would hang prisoners from the hooks at the top. They'd hang them upside down until they lost consciousness, and then they'd drop them into the pots down there, which were filled with human excrement, fertiliser and waste, so they'd regain consciousness, and then they'd carry on doing that to gain confessions out of them and to continue interrogating them. So it's pretty twisted stuff. So behind me is building B, which was also used obviously to house prisoners for torture and all the other atrocities that they committed, and there's a gallery inside it now, so there may be some quite disturbing images, but I'm going to show them, I'm going to film them and show them to you guys, because it's an important part of history, and it's important that these sort of things aren't covered up, because it was all done behind closed doors. No one really knew it was happening at the time, and it was kept pretty secret. So it's important that these things come out, and that that the world knows about it, so that it doesn't happen again. So yeah, let's go into building B, and I'll just kind of show you around and talk a bit more about some of the things like that. Guys, so these are photos of people who are arrested, and what you'll notice is that a lot of them are professionals. This husband and wife here were academics and professors of medicine, and they were arrested purely because they're educated. Guys, so it wasn't only Cambodians that were arrested and kept here, there were also a number of Westerners. These two guys, John Dewhurst and Kerry Hamill, were sailing around the world, fulfilling a lifelong dream of sailing. They sailed into Cambodian waters and were captured, arrested and then brought to S21. And they were tortured here and made to sign confessions. Kerry Hamill, on the audio guide, there's an excerpt from his brother who testified at Duke's, the guy that ran S21 Prison, testified at Duke's trial, and within his confession he mentions lots of famous Western people who were supposedly his co-conspirators, and he said that he reported to a Colonel Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken fame, and obviously the poorly educated people who ran the prison had no idea who Colonel Sanders was, but it was, you know, it's a really emotional story to hear his brother testify, but it was quite nice to see that, you know, in spite of everything, Kerry Hamill still kept his sense of humour, and, you know, was kind of, I guess, winding up his captors without them even realising, which was interesting to hear about. This is building C, and it is pretty much as it was when it was found. All of the downstairs, what used to be classrooms, have been turned into single cells, and you'll see that there's barbed wire all around it. The S21 prison guards put the barbed wire there to stop people committing suicide, because that was a better option than being tortured. So they had to put barbed wire up the entire length of the building, so that nobody could jump out the windows. But I'll take you around this and show you some of the cells and the conditions they lived in. So it's been really interesting to learn more about Pol Pot and the regime and everything that happened, and I definitely recommend coming to see S21. It is moving. The stories are some of them are pretty upsetting, and the things that went on here are pretty terrifying, and it is really sad, just like the killing fields yesterday. It's an incredibly moving and emotional thing to witness and to hear about. Some of the stories of, you know, the people that were victims, the stories of the people who were, you know, the perpetrators. Duke, who ran this prison, is in jail. He wasn't actually jailed until 2011, but he is serving life in jail now, almost 35 years after he committed his crimes. So you know, there is a little bit of justice, I guess, in the end, but it's a pretty moving and emotional place to come and visit, and I would highly recommend it. But that's pretty much it from the tour of S21, and we'll see where we go next, but I imagine it's going to be a pretty somber mood because this is quite a somber place. Guys, so we finished up at the prison, then went to the shopping mall. Really exciting news, I bought a new camera. We're now in a restaurant that is banging out Adele incredibly loudly. We're having our final meal as a foursome, as tomorrow myself and Fab are flying to Kuala Lumpur, and the girls are staying here before they go to Vietnam. So we're saying goodbye to Star. Bye. And to Gao, who is still incredibly hungover. So this is our farewell meal. We're getting bacon cheeseburgers. So we're going to chow down, and then I think that's probably going to call it a night because we are all still incredibly hungover. Guys, that's it for today. Just standing outside the hostel on an incredibly noisy street in Phnom Penh. This is our last night in Phnom Penh. We went out for dinner with the girls. Really sad to be saying goodbye to them. Spent a month traveling with Gao and Star, and they've been awesome fun. So really sad to say goodbye to them. And hopefully I'll see them again somewhere on the journey and somewhere on the travels. Today's been a pretty relaxed day. As you can tell, I'm still really hungover, and going to the S21 Prison was quite a sombering experience. I'd highly recommend it, and it is really interesting that with the killing fields to find out more about kind of the atrocities that went on in Cambodia. But yeah, on to a new country. Tomorrow we fly to Kuala Lumpur. I've been there already, I've taken you guys around, but 2 days in Kuala Lumpur, meeting some friends there, Nick and Parry, who you would have seen in Vientiane when I hung out with them there. So looking forward to meeting those guys again, and I'm flying with Fab, 2 days in Kuala Lumpur, and then we're going on to Bali, which I cannot wait for. So excited about Indonesia, and get to spend a month exploring Indonesia. So for tonight, guys, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, keep following the adventure, hit the subscribe button, and until tomorrow, guys, peace out.